Okay, I am really excited about this video because this video is actually part one of a trilogy where I am going to really break down some insight for you. So here's how it's gonna work. This first video that you're about to watch is going to share some mistakes that you very well could be making with longer hair. So in this first video, I'm gonna break down what these mistakes are, why I feel that they are mistakes. So we're gonna talk all about that in this first video. At the very end of the video, I will be sharing what shape I believe you should probably move into, or some ideas about what shape would work best. But then we'll move into video two. And in video two, I'm actually going to take a client and cut their hair with you watching and walk you through why I don't do certain things and why I do certain things. And the purpose of that is to give you the knowledge so that you can take that with you and have more understanding as to what's going on and how to avoid these mistakes with your hair. Now, I know that sounds like it might be pretty technical, and it will be probably the most technical video I've put on this channel. But don't worry, I'm going to break it down very simply for you so that you will definitely be able to understand what I'm talking about and how to avoid those things. And the third part of this series will be all about how to style that shape. So I'm gonna walk you through the styling process, how to create the overall volume in the areas that you wanna create volume to give you the best shape. But as I said in this particular video, what mistakes might you be making? And why do I consider them to be mistakes? And more importantly, what shape should you be creating in your longer hair to flatter you the most? That is exactly what we're going to talk about today on this incredibly beautiful hike that is also ridiculously cold right now. Hence the big puffy jacket, the gloves. Yeah, I'm freezing. And before I forget, because I always get asked, where are you? Well, I'm actually right here. Trapper Creek Wilderness. Yes, we are heading to, it's called the Soda Peaks Trail. I don't know, maybe there's a soda at top. No, that was a horrible. Okay, we're gonna talk about hair. Let's go. There are some very common mistakes that I see people make behind the chair when it comes to long hair. And so what I want to do is kind of walk you through those mistakes so that simply you don't make them. And the first of those mistakes when it comes to long hair is honestly the idea that you have to have it one length. But when I'm talking about longer hair, the biggest mistake in the idea that it has to be one length is the idea that one length hair can do anything for you, right? So that might sound a little aggressive, so let me explain this. One length hair doesn't have the ability to create volume or shape. You take somebody who looks good in one length hair, if you add some layering to that, what you will find is that the hair then is able to accentuate things about their face shape, give them more movement, give them more style, and ultimately it will always enhance that person. So if they looked good with one length hair, they're gonna look amazing if you give it some layering. Just as a rule of thumb, one length versus layering is always going to allow you to do more with enhancing what you want to enhance about yourself, whereas one length hair is just going to be more limiting. It is what it is. Now I know that maybe you have been in a position where you've had layering in the past and it did not work out for you. And so honestly, rightfully, you're terrified of layering. I don't blame you. But with that said, talked about this in multiple videos, layering can be done right or wrong. It's unfortunately as simple as that. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about layering here pretty soon, but just understand that if you're looking for the perfect shape, layers are gonna be part of it. Now, side note, whenever I'm in a position like this and I'm looking at you and there's all these woods behind me, I always feel like something's behind me, like a cougar or a freaking bear or Bigfoot, I don't know. So yeah, this is why you always see me with my back to views, because there's a cliff and there's probably nothing going to come from behind me and attack me. Okay, well enough of that. Let's get back to hiking. And that actually brings me to my next mistake, which is being scared of layers for the wrong reasons. So here's the thing. I get it if they were done incorrectly, but because they were done incorrectly does not mean that they can't function well for you. So a lot of people feel like, well, if I get my hair layered, it's gonna make it look really thin. And that, I will tell you, is a result of incorrect layering. Layering does not need to make your hair look thin. If it's done incorrectly, it can, especially as it gets longer. But if you do it correctly and you don't layer too much from the occipital bone down, you leave that basically one length, you'll find that you actually create a lot more fullness, and it makes your hair look thicker without making those ends look thinner. Yes. And the other concern would be you don't want to do layering in the front. I totally get it. A lot of my clients that have longer hair have a tendency to put their hair back in a ponytail a lot. Makes perfect sense. Many times people feel like layering in the front, they pull it back and all of a sudden all this hair is falling in their face and it drives them insane. So I understand all the reasons why you don't want layering in the front, but what I would argue is this. If you do layers correctly, you don't have a ton of layering in the front, but some softness, you can easily still get that back in a ponytail. Worst case scenario, you tuck it behind the ears, and if for some reason it doesn't fully tuck behind the ears because it's too short, these pieces you should be able to easily put a bobby pin here and a bobby pin there and get those to stay back off your face without a problem. So I would argue that the benefit you get from having that softness, having that movement when your hair is down, having that shape when your hair is down, outweighs the small price you would have to pay, potentially pay, of having those layers when you pull your hair back in a ponytail. Again, it really just is a matter of if they're done correctly and you don't have too much. It probably doesn't make you feel any better. But all I'm here to say is that layers can be scary, but they can also be your best friend. So don't make the mistake of pushing them away completely just because you've had a bad experience. Now, we are really close to what I think and hope is going to be an incredible view. Because I'm not gonna lie, I've been working really hard to get you here. So it's right around this corner. Let's go check it out. Oh my gosh, this is the perfect time to take a break. This is way more uphill than I even anticipated. You can kind of see back here. Hopefully I'm taking you guys to a ridiculous view. Pray I am. I have no idea. I don't even know if I'm still on the trail, to be completely honest. But either way, this is the perfect time to take a little breather and welcome you if you're brand new to the channel. Thanks for hanging out. My name is Justin Hickox. I basically take you on adventures while I teach you about hair. I know, random, but that's what I love to do. So yeah, if you're into adventures or hair, hope you hang out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Every Tuesday I bring out a new video, sometimes even more. Okay, we'll take a quick break and then hopefully we get you guys to some amazing views. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so Mount Rainier, right between the trees back here if you can see it. And then there's a lake right down here. I'm not sure if you can see the lake, and I'm not going, especially not this direction, to go show it to you because it is way down. So, but that view is amazing. Wow. Well, okay, let me see if I can not fall, but get in frame here so you can see. So, it brings me to my next tip, which is simply not having your hair the right length of long. Everybody's hair texture is a little bit different. What you're gonna find is that as your individual hair texture gets a little bit longer, it will get to a point where the ends no longer really grow or stay strong. It just ends up looking kind of damaged and thin. Now, like I said, that's gonna be different for everybody. That may be at your collarbone for some textures, especially if your hair is finer and thinner, or it may be down at your waist. You may be able to get your hair down to your knees and it look great and strong at the ends. But having it long just to have it long, if it's broken at the ends, it no longer does really any service. It just ends up being long hair to have long hair. Bringing that length up a little bit to wherever it is strongest is going to make it look a million times better and a lot healthier. And when you do decide to go in and layer your hair, that stronger length is going to support those layers much better and help keep it from looking thin at the ends. Now I'm gonna get back to enjoying this view a little bit. How about you, huh? Yeah, again, as I say, that does not suck. So we've talked about what mistakes people make when it comes to longer hair, but now the question is, what is the best shape for you? What's the best actual style for you? And I'll share some tips with you that I share with my clients. And this is simple, but it's very important. Basically, as we age, I think we all know that unfortunately, things have a way of moving downward, AKA gravity. Yeah, I know that's happened to me, and I know it's happening to other people too. So in that situation, we typically want to actually combat that and lift the eye up. And the way we do that is by creating volume in certain areas. So one simple way to do it is to create volume around the temples. If we taper in the sides a little bit more and bring more emphasis to around the temple, what you're doing is you're following the actual cheekbone structure instead of cheeks. If you look at the face, you'll see that the cheekbones lift up like this. So if we can follow that line and create some volume in that area, it's going to accentuate that. It's going to lift that eye up. It's going to create the illusion that there's more of that cheekbone. And then another thing is actually bringing your hair back off of your face. Many times people want to bring all of the hair into their face, and ultimately that can be very closing. So actually wearing your hair back off your face and creating the volume in the temple areas like I was talking about will help to open you up a bit more and can help to lift the eye up a bit more. It's part of the reason that many times people like their hair when it's pulled back up into kind of a messy bun. It tapers those sides in, it opens your face up, it brings the volume in the area that actually accentuates cheek structure and face structure. It kind of does all of the things that I'm walking you through right now. So yeah, that's a few tips for you. So right now, what I need you to do is watch one of these two videos right there, because mainly it's going to support the channel so that I can create more of these videos for you, and also you're going to learn some good stuff. So there's that. Hopefully we will see you next week in a brand new video. Have a good one. I appreciate you hanging out. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.